It took much courage to work through these life stories, a darkness so still that there is no coming nor going, no incarnation, no evolution, and no realization. Only the great mystery observing itself. The murder traumatized my soul to the point of its departure. I felt like an empty shell. So I began taking conscious steps to reclaim what was lost, stolen, or hidden. My partner, Nanda, was very anxious. He was very upset. And he said he wouldn't tell me what had happened. So he closed all the doors. And he took a blank piece of paper. And on that blank piece of paper, he drew a line right down the middle. And he said, to live or to leave. And I saw something wasn't right. And he looked at me and he said to me, you never have to tell me where you're going again. And those were the last words we ever said to each other. That evening, it was about 10 o'clock, I wasn't able to watch the film. I was biting my nails. I never bite my nails. I felt something was coming up. And I heard this gunshot. And I grabbed our daughter. And he came into the house where I was trying to rip off the clothes to plug the bullet hole. I was totally drenched in his blood. Our daughter was holding onto my leg very tightly. I was so silent. And then the next morning when I was in the bath, she said, Mama, I can't get the blood off your body. And I knew what it meant, that something had stained me for life. And it was that precise moment where I realized I had to get my life back together. I associate the Apprentice with the dark night of the soul, required to walk through the fire in order to understand why the situation had happened. Since childhood, I found sanctuary in nature, so naturally I gravitated to the wise elders of our country who hold the powerful wisdom of ancient methods of healing with plants, water, and elements.
Honorable one, it's so easy to die. As a young person, for you death is easy. But to survive, to put right the evil that is rolling all around you, that is the way of somebody. Anyone can die. It's so easy to die. Death is just walking into a darkness.
Had the life I had lived up to now prepared me for this?
But then, you who had the knowledge, what are you leaving behind? Are you leaving behind children that they should suffer for what you failed to do?
Their deep wisdom had risen out of the pain and strength stretching back through time. Was my soul loss as equal to that of my country, and the people suffering.
We should survive, I think. Survival is the good thing to do.
Our local shamans are referred to as sangomas, who become community advisors, practitioners, and traditional psychologists through trials of initiations. These initiation periods are referred to as a twasa or as an apprentice. The apprentice has a calling through the ancestors, or the soul's recognition. For the person who receives this calling, their lives can become challenging until this calling is recognized. An initiation into the field of interest is required for that apprentice. On the path towards initiation, there are many people and signs that direct us towards this calling. These are the tribes we find association with because of similar interests. The courage to be different, to stand outside of the crowds, and to walk alone can be both rewarding and lonely. But little choice is there when we are called to recognize the soul's purpose. Large amounts of investments, both financial and physical, are committed to in researching and re-educating oneself, either with teachers or tribes. There is never a guarantee of achievement or success. I have called these teachings the University of Life. It was perhaps the innocent puzzlement of a fractured childhood which initiated me into a world of fantasies, where my companions were trees and plants and animals. This was a very private world for me, until my early adult years, when I stumbled upon the old mystic, artist and shaman Credo Mutwa. It was Credo who introduced me to the teachings of nature and the earth being a divine feminine power. Large female sculptures always present in his many gardens. He guided me the importance of integrating spirituality into the responsibility of intentions in order to restore balance.
This is a skilled example of sculpture. See how it looks like. Perfectly made on the outside. This artifact, which is thousands of years old, what was it really for? Where did you find these things? You found them in the homes of African healers, for looking into the future.
It is said that the entire cosmos was designed with one sound. Cultures have revolved around instrument for centuries, and I followed the music which called me to discover the wisdom of our elders. People rooted in antiquity shape their behavior patterns around the environment, respecting nature as the first force to survival. Gubi playing the mouth bow was used as an instrument to mesmerize the bees when he would collect honey. This footage is from the opening of a drum ceremony. A week of dance and song and drum all funnel into one drum beat, directed at the plants to ensure the next few months of harvesting will be prosperous. The more I walked on the path of the apprentice, the closer the information resonated to my innocence, awakening an innate intelligence within, seeking a truth that needed to revive.
Those big stones, how did we move them here? You can't move them. One, you have got to use music, believe it or not. It's amazing 2, you have got to use ice.
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 An auspicious time, given climate change and the impact of consumerism.
Global warming, I said, is not tomorrow. Global warming is now. Global warming is the concern of everybody. But many of us are barred from doing our duty to God and to humanity.
You have cut our livelihoods away. Please, can you respect us? So leave creation the way it has planned how the bird will survive. Give it its survival. Even the locusts and the worms, give them its survival.
The looming threat of privatization over land and resources was weakening our environment. All of what I deemed as sacred now was in the hands of greed. I ventured out to make films with the hope of communicating the value of ancient wisdom. This intention also resulted in an exhibition of photographic artwork titled The Beautiful Woman of South Africa, as an ode to those who hold the knowledge and heritage. But more appropriately, the series was made with respect and affection for the people and all they had shared with me. The Apprentice archetype has returned into my life cycle on few occasions. Every time, it facilitates an expansion. And like the trails of pollution dissolved into thin air, so the vision became clear. Amongst the media, the lockdown grew desperate, whilst the clear sky filled with probability. My body began to awaken to its natural patterns.